You are listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast.
What is going down? It is your boy, Studio MacGyver, and you are listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. It's over, guys. The final episode of Dragon Ball Super is finally done. Episode 131. I just got through watching it for the third time, and I was amazed. Okay, let me just start off by saying that I was amazed at what I saw. I did not see this coming at all. I mean, so many good things, in my opinion, that happened in this final episode that just makes me love this series even more. I mean, I didn't think I could love it anymore, but just when I thought that, man, my cup runneth over, and I'm in love all over again with this series. I mean, so many things to be excited for going forward with some of these characters, and the growth and the changes that have happened in this arc. It's a lot to be excited about. And I'm speaking from my perspective, my opinion, but I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way. I've watched some other YouTubers, watch and talk about this episode and talk about the series as a whole, where it is right now and where they think it's going. And pretty much, man, what I've heard is pretty much nothing but good things about it. And I mean, let's start off with, it basically ended. The tournament was done halfway through the last episode. I mean, and the amount of time that was left, I felt that it was going to be rushed, and it really wasn't. I didn't get that feeling from the show. I didn't get that feeling when I watched it. It didn't seem rushed to me. It seemed like the pacing was, I guess, I'm not debating or arguing with the way that they paced this last episode. I mean, it came together, in my opinion, pretty fucking well. But what really impressed me about this is the fact that some of the way that they wrote Frieza in this final episode. Okay, they actually gave him some nuts in this episode. And if you guys do not know, which most of you do, who listen to my podcast and who know me or even just watch some of the videos on my channel, you guys know that one of my favorite characters is Frieza. And, I was a little disappointed in how, he was being treated, towards the end of the tournament. But he got some love in this episode. He got plenty of it. And it so many questions, man, I need to ask it, and I'm wondering about now going forward with this series, man. And I'm just, okay, let's just do a quick rundown. I mean, I'm sure if you listen to this podcast, you've seen the last episode, you know what already happened. But, quick little rundown. The winner of the tournament ended up being Android 17. Okay. There was 17, there was Frieza, and Goku left. And then, of course, you have that boy they called Jiren. And it was basically a 3-on-1. And what ended up happening was they had to team up, and particularly Goku and Frieza team up and take on Jiren. And that is basically how they get him out of the tournament. 17 was helping as well. really 17 teamed up with Frieza at first, and then it was Goku who came in and teamed up with Frieza, and Frieza and Goku were the ones who ended up taking out Jiren, but they also, took out themselves. So basically, it was kind of like a sacrificial type of thing. And then 17 was left in the tournament. And then when the tournament was over with, basically, he got to make the wish. And his wish, he basically wished all of the universes back. So everybody that, took an L and was vanished or erased, he wished everybody back. And that was his wish. And we learned later that if he would have chosen another wish, a selfish wish, if you will, then they would have destroyed or erased all the universes. So basically, it was predestined for, the last person left in the tournament to make this wish and basically make this unselfish wish and wish everybody back. So it was kind of like if you look at it through, somebody else's eyes, they might say it was just a sick little game played by, these guys just wanting to have a little fun. You know what I mean? Just bored as fuck and just wanting to have some fun. And they get a kick out of all these warriors and shit. But however you want to fucking slice it, it all worked out to the good. Like I said, I couldn't be any more pleased with what transpired. And the very end, which basically said that, we're only going away for a short while and we will be returning. So they basically, assured everybody who was watching that the Dragon Ball is not over. They're just taking a break and we will see you again soon. Okay. So just as I predicted, and I'm sure a lot of you guys felt as well, that they were taking hiatus, in particular for this movie that they're going to be doing. And then after that, it's back to work as usual on writing for the new series, whether it be Dragon Ball Super or whether it be called something else. But, writing and getting that stuff down and, getting ready to move forward in 2019. So like I said, it's a great time to be a Dragon Ball fan. So many good things, guys, to look forward to. We have the games out. We have a lot of things coming. We even have something else I'll be just brushing on a little later, a mobile game that I'm kind of interested in playing, and it's coming out pretty soon. It goes by the name of, if I'm not mistaken, Dragon Ball Legends. Yes, for the phone devices. So mobile devices, I guess you can tablet or whatever the fuck, but it looks pretty fucking dope. Depending on how it plays, I think it's going to be a dope game. Me personally, I think it's going to be better than Dokkan. Dokkan, I'm not really big on Dokkan. I don't play a lot of Dokkan. I know a lot of people out there do. But if there's a mobile game that I would play and it's based on Dragon Ball, it's going to be this one here. This is going to be the one that I think I'm going to get my hands on. So I'll be talking about that a little bit. But right now, guys, we are talking about Dragon Ball Super, the final motherfucking episode. And, words can't express how I feel right now about some of my favorite characters in there. Vegeta had a nice little point in this episode at the very end when him and Goku are fighting, they're sparring or whatever, and Vegeta's basically saying, "Come on, man, where's that format?" And Goku basically says, "Look, I don't know how to get it back. We was in a heated battle. I was being pushed to the edge, and it just happened." So Vegeta comes back and says, "Look, okay, well, I'm going to attain that, and before you, and I'm going to surpass you this time." And they basically just said, "Let's go then. Let's find out." So, that Ultra Instinct form was like a 1 in a million type of thing right now, as far as, sayings are concerned. So, like I said, they're going to practice. They're going to continue to get stronger and try to attain what, Goku had attained. And same thing with Vegeta. He was scratching the surface of something beautiful as well. And all this goes to, Jiren. And it brings me to Jiren right now. Jiren is, like I said, he's my favorite character in Dragon Ball Super, and he's one of my favorite characters now. He's in there with Ten Shinhan. He's in there with Frieza and Vegeta now. So he's officially earned a spot in and or amongst those guys, and that's saying a lot. If you guys know me and you guys know, my guys, my favorite characters in Dragon Ball, and the reason why is because, okay, Jiren they call him Jiren the Gray, and it goes so well with him because he's a gray character. He's not a hero, but he's not evil either. He's not a bad guy either. I mean, he comes from, a background where, they stand for justice and pride. You know what I'm saying? Some of the same things, well, one of the same things that, the Saiyans, Saiyans stand for. And justice, I guess you could say, would be more of Goku's thing, and pride would be, of course, more of Vegeta's thing. He's a very gray character. He's not black and he's not white. He's in between, and that was made apparent when Goku was fighting him, and he just could not lay Goku down. Goku was just continuing to keep coming at him and would not stop. And, Jiren was forced to do something out of his character, something that he doesn't or would not typically do in a certain situation when his back was against the wall. And he started to basically try to take out all of his friends, everybody in the stands. He went for them. And when I saw that, I was like, oh shit, yeah. I mean, he's not perfect. I mean, he is not, a perfect person. He has faults. He has, weaknesses. And then it also brings me, let's pull this up real quick. In this final episode, I mean, he was about his pride, or his psyche was broken. I mean, when he got hit, when 17 hit him with that technique, that blast, or whatever you want to call it, and he coughed up blood, or I don't know what it was he was coughing up. It wasn't red, but it was white, and it looked like it was fucking made of acid or some shit, because when it hit the ground, it fucking sizzled. But basically, I thought that was it. I said, oh shit, they finally broke Jiren. I mean, they broke his soul down, and he was on his knees, and he was just sitting there waiting to be taken out. Frieza walked up on him, man, and I thought it was all she fucking wrote. And then this is what amazed me about Jiren, and this is why, I have to put him on my list of favorite characters now, because I don't know about you guys, but when he was on his knees like that and Frieza was about to take him out, I couldn't help but root for Jiren. I was actually like saying, Jiren, get the fuck up, man. What are you doing? Don't go out like this. That's what I was saying. And you saw the scene where Toppo is telling him, look, what are you doing? You know what I mean? You're the strongest person. You're stronger than anyone. You know what I'm saying? Get up. Don't let it end this way. We believe in you. I mean, it was basically like, their version of Goku in a sense. And it was crazy. And he basically was saying that he had no friends and all of these things, man. I mean, and it just made me love him even more. You know what I mean? He's more human than, we actually thought. And the only way we found that out was by the fact that he was challenged. If Jiren ran through everybody in his tournament and just beat everybody or whatever, we would have not known anything about him. You know what I mean? Now, when we found about his motivation and we found out about what or why he was doing what he was doing, okay, cool, fine and dandy. But, who is this guy? Who is he as a person? What does he really stand for? What does he believe in? All of these things. I mean, and a lot of that we would have never known. When you get pushed to the brink and you get pushed to the edge like that, you know what I mean? Certain things happen in your character and certain things come out. And we saw, the good, the bad, and the ugly come out of Jiren. You know what I mean? And even at the end when the tournament was over with, and Jiren learned a very, very valuable lesson. He learned that, teamwork and people that depend on you is important. And he also learned that, it's okay to embrace friendship again, because he had that at one point in his life, and he threw all that to the wayside in search of power. He was thirsty for power. He wanted to be, he never wanted to be embarrassed, or he never wanted to be beaten, and he never wanted to feel the way he felt when those things happened when he was younger. So he threw everything else to the wayside. Nothing else mattered. And, everybody in his clique who thought they were his friend, he didn't look at them in the same way. But now, after this tournament and all these things transpired, and they basically told him that, yo, look, we cut for you, man. You're our friend. You're our boy. You know what I mean? And he's seeing that now. So he's basically allowing himself to open back up and actually have friends, and accept them as, not just, acquaintances, you know what I mean? Actual, friends. So it's just so many things that, were important to me in this episode. And I'm happy, man. I'm very, very happy with this episode. I couldn't be any more happier. I'm a little sick, under the weather, man. I just was getting sick again, so excuse the sound of the voice. And then there's the air conditioner on in the background, which I usually turn off before I record. So guys, if you hear that in the background, please forgive that as well. But I'm going to doctor up the podcast best I can. And the most important thing is getting this podcast out, telling you guys how I feel, and getting into some gangster shit, man, because this definitely was the end all and be all of Dragon Ball. And I cannot wait. I'm already slapping my arm. I'm already wishing that I knew what was going to happen next. I mean, I already want to know what's going to happen next, but so many things. I mean, Frieza. Let's talk about Frieza, and let's talk about how he teams up with Goku. And let's talk about how he even, gave or paid homage to Goku, during this fight. And, he's resurrected, so he's back. He's doing his thug thizzle. And he even admitted, though, after he was brought back, he was like, look, I'm not going to change. I'm going to continue to be evil, and my ways will never waver. And Goku was like, well, if that happens, then I'll be there to take you out. And basically Frieza with a grin says, okay, whatever you say, we'll see. You know what I mean? So, but I think that Frieza has turned slightly in favor of Goku now. In other words, I think he's going on the path of Vegeta, not as fast, but I think he's on that path now. I think that when they fought together, they realized that, they can actually do damage together. I mean, if they teamed up, they could do some fucking damage. I think that Frieza is still going to be a dickhead, kind of like Vegeta's still a dickhead in his own way, but Vegeta's grown over the years, and you can kind of see, Vegeta, he's always going to be Vegeta, and that's why I love him. But, characters who grow, and have some kind of, growth as time goes by, that's very important. I mean, and you see that growth all the way from back when you first met Vegeta up until now. I mean, he's grown quite a bit as a person. And this is what makes me so happy about this final episode, and this just arc in general, is the fact that, you get to see somebody like Frieza, who is basically, in my opinion, the creme de la creme of villains in the anime universe, in the anime world. I mean, Frieza will and always forever be the greatest villain in Dragon Ball and anime in my eyes. He just is. And for him to actually look like he's he wanted to help out in the potential of him being able to be a friend, or not, I'm not even going to say friend, that's a strong word when you're talking about Frieza, but an acquaintance at least in the future going forward, man. I think that is very, very doable now that I've seen episode 131. In other words, if shit gets real out here in these Dragon Ball streets, and everybody in the Z team won't cut it and you need more help, then I think that is where Frieza might come into play, and maybe even Jiren as well, because they stated in this episode that Goku said he wants to see Jiren again. I mean, and he's the reason why they got this strong. And even Jiren himself actually has grown as well. Now, we don't know too much about Jiren's, we know a little bit about his background, but we don't know, as far as, how strong he can get. But we know that he was weak at one point and he trained himself by himself to attain the power that he has. So saying that, I'm assuming that if Jiren puts his mind to it and he goes back and he trains harder and harder, he's going to get stronger. Okay. Whatever his race is, I just know he's some kind of alien race, and he goes hard. I mean, he's a very powerful motherfucker. And like I said, it took all three, Android 17, Frieza, and Goku, to take out Jiren. Okay. No one of those guys were doing that shit solo, Johnson. Nobody. Okay. If it was just up to one individual person, it was not going to happen. So I think it's safe to say Jiren is still, out of all of the characters, he's still strong, the strongest one, the strongest guy. Goku's body gave out in Ultra Instinct. Excuse me, it didn't last, and he doesn't even know how to find it again right now. So I mean, and the only way that happened is because he was pushed to the edge of eternity. He was pushed to the edge. Nobody else, I don't think, but Jiren could have taken him there, and that is why that happened. So I'm looking forward to seeing Jiren again. Like I said, I cannot wait, and I hope that the arc that comes next is going to kind of, make it to the point that where we can actually have him back in the series, kind of like one of those teammates or one of those acquaintances, when shit gets really bad, he's here, he wants to come and lend a hand. You know what I mean? I think that he's going to be one of those characters. Same thing like Frieza. When you got these universes involved now, and I think the next arc is going to have something to do with that, because like I said, they mentioned it early in the arc, and I just have a feeling that they're going to get worked in some kind of way, to the point that these other beings in these other universes who happen to be stronger are going to find their way into our world of Universe 7. And then Goku might have to call on some, help from some guys that he fought from the previous tournament, being Jiren, you know what I mean? And even, an arch enemy like Frieza to come and join the party and help, because shit, man, I mean, Frieza on the squad, I mean, they did a pretty good motherfucking job, man. I mean, and we already know what Jiren's capable of doing. So I can't wait to see what's going to happen next. I really can't. I'm very pleased with this episode, the way that they handled it. I did not expect to see Frieza and Goku taking out Jiren like that. It's crazy. It's crazy. And then as far as character development is concerned, I mean, you saw Frieza, reach a new plateau in that regard. And you also saw Jiren reach a new plateau in that regard. Everybody learned something here. You know what I mean? And I can't remember the last time I've seen Vegeta give somebody a compliment. Okay. Vegeta said something like, Jiren was truly remarkable or some shit like that. He gave him a straight up, no hesitation, no beat around the bush type of compliment. And coming from Vegeta, man, for you to get that from him, you got to be pretty motherfucking wet. And, if you guys do not know what wet means, it's WETT. It's a term I came up with. It means amazing and highly skilled. So if you hear me say wet and refer to that word on this podcast or YouTube channel or whatever, that is what I mean when I say it. But yeah, so all in all, guys, the episode was amazing in my opinion, and I couldn't be happier. I've watched it 3 times already. Some of the animation was pretty stout as well. Some of it was pretty fucking dap, and it still wasn't a 122 type of episode. 122 was just from start to finish. It was fucking, it was unbelievable. Okay. So, I mean, that still gets the best episode, in my opinion, in Dragon Ball Super. And, it is what it is. If you guys have a candidate for a favorite episode as far as animation and writing, hey, let me know. Please holler at your boy, Twitter, Facebook, wherever, man. I'd like to hear what you guys think about that. But I had to drop this podcast. I had to put this one out because, man, I mean, this is the last episode. I don't know, what am I going to talk about? I'm wondering to myself, like, what am I going to really be talking about here next week? What's the topic going to be? It's not going to be super anymore. It's going to be, I don't know, man. You guys, if you guys have any ideas, let's share it with me. You know what I mean? Me personally, what I'll probably end up doing is going more on the game route, or dipping into some other anime that I've been watching, and trying to get into that. And then, like I said, Dragon Ball, there's always things to talk about. I mean, I'll still be basically talking about characters, talking about, speculation on what's to come as far as, the next arc, even the current situation. I used to talk about, favorite characters, why they are my favorite characters, breaking down things like that. There's all kind of topics, games. So you guys give me some feedback, and we can kind of brainstorm this thing together. And I'll do the same thing on the solo side, and we'll figure something out, man. But the podcast isn't going anywhere. It's a weekly thing, and I will continue to make that happen because I just love Dragon Ball that much, and I love games too. Speaking of games, there is a sale which will probably, by the time you guys hear this, it will be done. I think the 27th is the end of it. Today is the 25th. Basically, it's the 26th now because it's like 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning. I'm recording this, but yeah, man, PlayStation had a massive sale again. A lot of games are up to 80% off. One that particularly that caught my eye was BioShock, the collection, and I've been meaning to get that, wanting to get it, but then I Googled it, and I was like, well, shit, I can get the physical copy from I think Target still has that shit. So, I mean, I'd rather have the physical copy of that. BioShock is, I don't know, man. If you guys haven't played any of the BioShock games, man, I really highly recommend that shit because, I was never a first person guy. And when it came to video games, first person games was not my thing. I couldn't stand the fact that I could not see myself on the screen. And it just used to always just rub me the wrong way until I found BioShock. The first BioShock game, I remember it. And not just that, I mean, that is one of my favorite worlds. Rapture. Rapture is like one of my favorite worlds. Rapture is an underground fucking city. Underwater, man. I mean, and the story behind it and everything, all the characters and everything it's just epic to me. BioShock will always have a fucking soft spot. I will always have a soft spot in my heart for BioShock. And my favorite BioShock, the last BioShock was pretty fucking dope, but it wasn't my favorite. They did a lot of great things with it, but I still, BioShock 1 and 2, man, those two games right there, I mean, there's nothing like them. I love those fucking games. But yeah, man, that's a game that I've seen. There's a lot of other games. I think Andromeda's on sale for like $10. I still haven't played Andromeda. Okay. A lot of my friends say, some say, but I've played all the other ones. So I'm going to eventually, I need to play this one, even for myself. I wasn't doing it for the online anyway. It was just me, strictly campaign. So I will give that a whirl for $10. I mean, you can't lose with that. And be playing that. So, just games you add to the library, man. I mean, you just do. There's so many games out now. It's like the biggest problem that most of us have is when we will get to play them all, especially if you have a life as far as, most of us work. A lot of us have families and stuff like that, So, juggling all those things together, man, and trying to get some gaming in can definitely be a challenge sometimes. Most definitely. But, we do it for the love, and, it's one of those things that, I'll never stop playing games. I'll always be a gamer. I'll be that old motherfucker like at GameStop with all white hair and, playing with my grandkids, online or whatever, man. So that's just me. It's all good though. We love games. We love anime. It's all good. And, Dragon Ball, all this focus on Dragon Ball has basically, got me slacking on all the other anime. And then also bring to the fact that, like I just said, I mean, when you work and when you have a family and all that, man, time is like, time is very, very hard to come by. So, you don't have a lot of time to do a lot of things. And that includes watching anime, other anime, And now that Dragon Ball's over, hopefully it will give me a opening to get into some other anime, man. I mean, you still have Boruto out there. You have My Hero Academia coming up pretty motherfucking soon, maybe sometime in April if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, man, Attack on Titan as well. So there's some things that are out there, and I hope this summer we get Berserk season 3. So there's lots of things that, are just gonna basically make me, I guess, reactivate my Crunchyroll account. It depends. It depends on how they act or whatever. So we shall see, guys. And like I said, plenty to talk about. I had to get that Dragon Ball Super episode off of my chest. I'm sure you guys were, wanting to hear a little bit about what I had to say about that. And it's said and it's over and it's done. Tell me what you guys think. What did you guys think of this episode? Did you feel the same way I did in any respect or in any regard? Is there any character that, stood out? Is there something that you didn't see that you wanted to see? I mean, they are really pushing 17 though. I have to also say that 17 is definitely creeping up on the radar, man. When it comes to Dragon Ball, I think they have other things in store for this guy going forward, man, with the next arc. I mean, he won the fucking tournament, basically. He was the last guy standing. I mean, he was way stronger than I fucking thought he would be. I mean, he's dope. I'm not gonna lie. He's definitely an awesome character, and he's rivaling. I mean, Goku said it himself. I mean, he's fucking wet. I mean, he's rivaling Vegeta and Goku. I mean, in some regards. I mean, going head up with, Jiren. I mean, come on, man. He's doing his fucking thing, man. So, I mean, I'm not hating on 17. Never would. Never will hate on 17. So yeah, man, I'm interested. I think the heavy hitters from what I'm looking at, going forward, of course, Goku, the poster boy, Vegeta, and I'm talking about out of the Z team, the initial Z team. You got Goku and Vegeta already hands fucking down. I don't know what they're gonna do with Gohan, man. I mean, Gohan fans, man, I'm praying for you. I hope that they, take a turn. I hope being in this tournament and all these things happening, Gohan takes a look at this and says, look, man, I want to be like my dad. I want to be like Vegeta. I want to be, where they're at. I want to learn some new shit. And hopefully that happens. But 17, Vegeta, Goku, I think those three right there, man, are the heavy hitters going forward. And then, like I said, I have them, the way that they set it up, with Jiren and Frieza, I'm telling you guys, they're going to be back and they're going to be fighting with Goku, not against Goku. And think about it. Think of all the history, all of the characters that's happened since Dragon Ball. Everybody who's came into contact with Goku, who were at one point his enemy, eventually turns into his allies. Every fucking person he's damn near fought, man. Everybody. And I thought I would never say that about Frieza. And look what just fucking happened. Okay? Everybody he's fucking went against, he just has this effect on people. I mean, he's so naive, as Frieza said in this episode, that you can't help but fucking fall for he kills you with kindness, man. You know what I mean? He's so naive. You can't help. You want to be a dickhead to him all the time, but damn it. I mean, he just won't stop not being a dickhead to you. So it's like, you just have to end up loving him. Like, you know what I mean? And I think that's happened with Vegeta. I can't pinpoint exactly when, but he finally won Vegeta over. I mean, Vegeta was on the sideline cheering him on like Toppo was doing fucking Jiren. Okay, and like I said, these are characteristics from Vegeta that you never would have seen, and that's also in part to his growth as a character as well. But still, that's just how I feel about that. And look, man, all I'm saying is, that's what I see. Let's see if it comes to fruition. I think it will. And you kind of got glimpses of it in this episode, in this final episode. So I think some shit's going to happen. They're going to be put in a situation where he's going to need help and he's going to need allies, not necessarily friends, but, acquaintances, you know what I'm saying? And I consider Jiren and Frieza acquaintances right now. You know what I mean? I'd say Jiren would be more so of a closer friend, faster, or, more so than, Frieza. But Frieza will still be there. They've shared the battlefield together, fighting each other, and they have deep history. And also now they have fought together, and they realize that they are fucking excellent, man, when they fight together, man. They make a dope ass team. Frieza and fucking Goku. I never thought I'd see the day. But yeah. And then Jiren with his powerful ass, man. That motherfucker is just, man, I love me some fucking Jiren, guys. I do, man. He's awesome. He's fucking dope. And I want to see him back. And I think we will see him back. And maybe even some of his guys from his squad too. You know what I mean? Because I know there's a lot of guys who like Dispo for some reason. There's a lot of Dispo fans out there in the building. So we shall see. But like I said, guys, I love this show so much. I love Dragon Ball so much. I mean, it's the greatest thing, man, since sliced bread. I love it, man. And I can't wait to see what this movie is going to be about. We have lots of things in the works. The DLC for Dragon Ball FighterZ has been announced. It will be out on the 28th. What is that, Tuesday or Wednesday? The 28th. Yeah, I want to say like Tuesday. I think that's a Tuesday. But anyway, the 28th of this month. So in a few days, it will be out. We're going to get Broly and we're going to get Bardock. So I can't wait to play Bardock. I've watched some gameplay footage of him, and he looks to be like that missing character that I need on my squad. So I'm going to make that a reality when that comes out. We also have Dragon Ball Legends, which is a mobile game, and it looks fucking excellent from here. I don't know how many characters they're going to have on here, but I'm sure we'll find out about those things as time goes on. But supposedly that game's coming out pretty soon too. So, man, lots of things, man, to be excited for. Like I said, Dragon Ball, man, they're pushing it. They're coming. December. Hey, man, in December, we got a Dragon Ball movie. I mean, so it's not. And then right after that, in 2019, we got a new Dragon Ball show. So, I mean, great time to fucking be a Dragon Ball fan. It's not going anywhere. I still haven't finished watching Kai all the way, completely watching it. When I get time, I will definitely finish that as well, because, I was making snap judgments on Kai, but I watched like the first season and I was actually enjoying myself in a lot of things that they did with Kai. So I'm in the Frieza saga now with that. So gonna get past all of that and then make a complete judgment on Kai versus, the uncut, old school versions I'm talking about with, Linda Young and as Frieza, those type of shows. I don't think anybody will ever take Linda's place as Frieza, in my opinion, voice wise. I mean, I just don't think so. I love her as Frieza. I always will. But, that's really my only gripe with Kai right now going so far. I mean, just that voice. And maybe Kid Gohan. That's it. But I'm going to leave you guys with that. Man, it's been damn near 40 minutes. This show is pretty fucking long, this week, but it was the final episode. I had to give it to you guys. I want to thank each and every one of you guys for listening to me week in, week out. I want to thank all my supporters. I want to thank everybody who sends me messages, who tells me they like the show, who has things to add. And just for being there, guys, just for somebody out there who feels the same way I feel about Dragon Ball. We're nerds out here in these streets, but proud nerds at that. Look out for the new t-shirt line coming out soon. It's called Beautiful Nerds. I'd say in about 90 days, maybe 4 months tops. Be looking for that, guys. I got some things coming. With that being said, I'm gonna get out of here, guys. You have been listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball in the Video Game Podcast. I'll see you next time.